Hello everyone, patching into today's video. Going to have a look at the weather for the next week to 10 days for today's video, which will take us around the 30th of January. So we're pretty much at the end of the month now with the week to 10 day video update time frame. That just leaves 1 month left for the winter of 2019-2020. And we haven't really had any winter yet, although we have had a couple of quite hard frosts across country or some parts of the country over the last couple of nights. But we've certainly not had anything particularly snowy. And time is drawing on now for this winter very, very rapidly. Of course, you can get wintry weather well into the spring, and that does often seem to be the case after you've had a very mild winter, so maybe we shall have some throwbacks into colder weather as we get through to March, April. I'll have to wait and see about that. Of course, we've still got February to go, which can deliver some pretty chilly conditions as well. Anyway, I'll take you through weather for the next week to 10 days in a moment. I thought I'd just start off with this, though. I've been running a poll at Galsworthy's YouTube channel asking whether people think we're going to have any more winter in the second half of winter of 2019-2020. We're on the Galsworthy's YouTube channel right now. So if you want to vote in this poll, you need to come to the community tab, which you can find on the Galsworthy's homepage. So you just scroll down, and there is the poll there. So we're asking, will the second half of winter 2019-20 see some cold and snowy weather? So very split, actually, between yes, people saying yes, we will see some cold, snowy weather, 43%, and people saying no, we won't have any cold and snowy weather in the second half of winter, 42%, so 43 to 42, virtually a 50-50 split. 15% are completely unsure about that. But what do you think? Well, you can vote in this poll and let us know what you think. You can also leave a comment as well. So that's on the Galsworthy's YouTube channel, which you can get to through the community tab, and we'll see whether yes or no gets an outright lead in the next day or so, I suppose. Thanks to everybody who's already voted in that, by the way. So this is the latest Central England temperature for January 2020 from Hadley, updated to yesterday, the 20th of January. So we're currently standing provisional at 7.0, an anomaly of 3.5 degrees above average, exceptionally mild January so far. That's provisional up to yesterday, the 19th of the month. This will tick down a little bit more, I think, over the next couple of days, because we've got a couple more pretty cold nights and fairly coolish days coming up. So probably by middle week it'll be into the upper sixes. After then, I think it will stabilise, and towards the end of the weekend, they start to lift up again, and then possibly sort of drop back a little bit as we go into the last week of the month. But we're not going to be deviating too far from this, so we're certainly having one of the mildest Januaries that we've ever had. We're certainly having one of the mildest Januaries on record. We're not going to beat 1916, I don't think. I think that record mild January of 1916 at 7.5 will hold, so I don't think will beat that, but certainly we're going to be up there. We're going to be in the top 10 mildest Januaries on record. I think there's no getting away from that now. So yeah, very, very mild month so far, and I don't think we'll be too far away from like mid to upper sixes by the end of the month, but we shall see where we are in a week or so's time. These are the 500 millibar high anomaly flow charts for the next week, 10 days from Penn State University. We've got the ECMWF on the top, the GFS, which we'll have in a moment, is on the bottom. So 500 millibars is an area in absolute high pressure and low pressure are being moved around by the jet stream running above. Red and orange extrapolate to high pressure, blue to low pressure. We can see that in the week to 10 day time frame, which takes us pretty much to the end of January. We're bringing in the westerlies, again, deep trough of low pressure, with the ECM is centred over the top of the country and into the Atlantic. Quite a strong jet stream coming across the Atlantic as well, indicated by those tight black lines that we have there. So again, this is all telling us that the westerlies and the Atlantic are going to be powering up again as we go through into the last week of the month. We're going to be turning more unsettled again, with, dare I say, another little bit of an onslaught coming from the Atlantic Ocean. But GFS is very similar, slightly different in the placement of this trough of low pressure, but all in all, looking very similar. Strong jet stream, deep low pressure, crashing in from off the Atlantic, being plenty of wet and windy weather. A little bit more of a ridge down towards Spain and Portugal, but overall, this is not all that far away from what we've had throughout this winter so far, which is very westerly and just really unsettled. So there'll be further bouts of rain and strong winds coming in there as we go into the week to 10-day time frame. These are the GFS upper air temperature and precipitation ensembles for the next couple of weeks. We're looking at Buxton today. The red line is the 30-year upper air temperature average for Buxton. We are now above average with the upper air temperatures, but of course we're under an area of high pressure, which means that down on the surface, because it's very still, there's nothing really to stir the air up. So down on the surface, particularly England and Wales, it's quite cold, despite the fact the upper air temperatures are relatively mild again now. Further north, we're under quite a bit of cloud and a bit more breeze, and so in northern parts of the country, it is actually milder than it is down in the south. We see those temperatures holding up well above average in the next few days, and then towards the weekend and into next week they do drop a little bit. So it gets a bit cooler over weekend into the start of next week, maybe even a little bit of a cold snap there sometime around the 28th of January, only lasting for around a day, and then the temperatures lift back up to be close to average as we go into the opening days of February. Getting more unsettled too, so a lot of dry weather coming up until the end of the week. Then over the weekend and into next week, increasingly unsettled, lots of rainfall spikes coming through. So there'll be regular bouts of rain from the weekend and into next week, and it might even be a little bit stormy, and that could last into the beginning of February as well. Temperature anomalies from the 20th to 28th of February are going to be milder than average in most parts of the UK. Near normal down in the south, around a degree or two milder than average further north, so mildest in the north. But all areas generally a little bit above average with the temperature anomaly in the week ahead. And precipitation anomalies very dry across many central and western parts of Europe. For the UK, we're actually drier in the south and a little bit more unsettled in the north and west. I would expect these are going to trend wetter, though, in the coming days. This is the 6 o'clock run of the GFS, so high pressure is dominating weather reaching through the country on Thursday. But by Friday and Saturday, that high pressure is starting to break down and weaken. So by Saturday, the first band of proper rain will be heading into the north and west, I would have thought. And then as we go into the weekend and next week, or further into weekend, Sunday through to Monday, increasingly unsettled. This actually looks a little bit stormy in a week's time. This is Monday, 27th of January. Tight back to isobars, indicating for chance of gale force winds. And this alone will no doubt bring quite a bit of wet weather with it as well. Definite sort of hints of a bit of a storm there around the 27th, 28th of January with a deep area of low pressure in the Norwegian Sea. This is very, very zonal stuff. So it's quite cold at this point. We're bringing the air out of Greenland on the backside of this low pressure. So that could bring some snow into northern and western parts of the country, perhaps in the form of snow showers. But it's not long as we get up towards day 10 and beyond it, that low pressure comes back in. Again, this is Thursday the 30th of January, day 10. Back to wetter, windy and milder conditions once again. Into our extended range, which takes into the first week of February. High pressure has a go at building there on the 1st of February, but with such a strong Atlantic, that's going to be doomed to fail, really, slipping over towards the eastern part of Europe already by February the 3rd, and low pressure again is heading back in from off the Atlantic once more. The GEM looks like that, so lots of dry weather coming up into the middle part of this coming week, and then at the end of the week and into the weekend, the high pressure is being broken down. Takes a while to break it down in the south, so we might just get a dry weekend in the south. Further north, though, it will turn increasingly unsettled, and into next week, then we're going to see outbreaks of rain spreading in from off the Atlantic, driven in by quite strong winds as well. Just properly wet and windy there with the GM. by the time we get through to day 10, which is the 30th of January. ECM, once more, we're under high pressure on Thursday, keeping us mostly dry. But Friday through to weekend, there's the change, a breakdown of the ridge as we go through the weekend, turning wet and windy in the north and the west by Sunday. Then into next week, well, that looks really quite stormy there for England and Wales on Monday. That's bringing severe gales in some southern west parts of the country. Bit cold in the north as well. There could be some wintry showers in the north. And we all go into that colder air with wintry showers on Tuesday the 28th of January. And we stay unsettled and quite cold up to day 10 with the ECM, which is Thursday the 30th of January. But again, everything is driving in from the Atlantic. So when I say cold, I'm just really talking about wintry showers, and mainly in the north and the northwest and over high ground. It's sort of cold zonality type stuff. We're not talking about genuine Arctic or Siberian type cold that's going to last for days. So just a bit on the cold side from the North Atlantic, really, with the ECM as we go into the day 10 time frame. This is the precipitation forecast from Meteo.com based on that ECM operational run. So we start off with lots of dry weather. Over the next few days, there's not going to be much to look at. We run through, and any rain is mostly confined to the far north and northwest of Scotland. Otherwise, we're under high pressure. So for several days up towards the end of the week, we're mainly dry. This is Friday. A very weak weather front is coming down across the country on Friday, bringing patchy rain with it. That's the beginning of the breakdown of the ridge, but the front itself won't do much on Friday other than produce a lot of cloud. But over the weekend, it starts to turn a little bit more wet and windy in the north and west. Still mainly dry though on Saturday, down in the south and the southeast. And then into Sunday. So then I'll bring another system down across the country, another weather front. Again, it's a weakening feature, but this one's introducing some slightly colder air. You'll see showers turning wintry over Scotland. Snow showers suggested up there. And then into January, wet and windy weather in around a week's time. This is next Monday. Heavy rain coming into the north and west again. Chance of snow for parts of Scotland. Really windy for England and Wales too. And then this rain eases southwards and becomes a bit stuck early next week across England and Wales before it gets out of the way and leaves us with lots of wintry showers in the north and the west. Mainly rain mowed down in the south, and as we get to day 10, that's how we're looking. So rather cool, rather unsettled. This highlighted what I was just talking about really in terms of cold zonality. So wintry showers across the northern part of the country, snow showers for the north of Scotland, wintry showers perhaps for Northern Ireland, but mainly rain showers down in the southern part of the country. These are the options this is the option that's on the table within the ECM ensemble today for day 10, which is the 30th of January. So we have 51 out of 51 members of the ECM ensemble. That's 100%, with low pressure centred over and just to the east of the country. And that leaves us bringing in that cool, relatively quite cold for the north, northwesterly flow, with risk of wintry showers in northern and west parts of the country on the backside of this low that's clearing away into southern Scandinavia. But that's not setting up anything sustained in terms of cold weather, of course. So as we get through to 2 weeks out, which gets us to the 4th of February, this is how we look. Low pressure generally is centred to the north with these 39 ECM ensemble members. Low pressure centred to the north, high pressure to the south. That's bringing in a mild west-southwesterly wind. And then 12, including the ECM control run, have us under a ridge of high pressure that's built up from the south. So that's a drier option, maybe even a little bit spring-like there as we get through to the 4th of February. So finally, these are the CFS-V2 500 millibar high anomaly flowcharts broken down into weekly periods. The first week period will take us from the 20th to 26th of January. The coming week is dominated by high pressure, especially to start off with. Lots of high pressure in control, getting a little bit more unsettled by the weekend. Then we go through to week 2, when it's all changed. It's 27th of January to 2nd of February. Low pressure back in business again, and we're bringing in westerlies, so it's generally mild with some colder sectors included in that. But the main thing is back into very unsettled conditions once more for the end of January and the beginning of February. Then back comes the high pressure for week 3, which is the 3rd to the 9th of February. The high pressure builds back up from the south. Low pressure rejects and gets pushed out towards the northwest. That's a little bit, that's much drier, and it's rather mild, probably quite spring-like conditions. And then we get through to week 4, which is the 10th to the 16th of February. And the high pressure domination goes on. High pressure sitting across the UK and many western parts of Europe as well. Low pressure is up to the north. That high pressure is a little bit more centrally located towards the UK, so that might be a drier, colder type pattern, kind of theme that we're in at the moment, perhaps. So the emphasis for February is probably on dry weather after a very unsettled start. So finally, temperature anomalies with surface V2 from the 20th, 26th of January. Mild average in the north, a little bit colder than average down in the south. And then week 2, which is the 27th of January to the 2nd of February, that one has near normal to slightly above average temperatures. Week 3 goes significantly milder than average. This is the 3rd to the 9th of February. Much milder than average. And that continues into week 4, which is the 10th to the 16th of February. That one also is significantly milder than average. Much drier than average in week 1, 20th, 26th of January. That one is coming out very substantially drier than average, and it's wetter than average in week 2, 27th of January to the 2nd of February. Week 3 hints at being drier again for the 3rd to the 9th of February. And then we finish up in week 4, which is the 10th to 16th of February. And that one also hints at being rather drier. So it looks as though we're progressing through the winter. We're moving to a drier phase of winter, although we will continue to have these throwbacks to unsettled conditions. So we're not going to be completely dry for the next 4 weeks. But it looks like we're into a drier phase for the second half of this winter, and temperatures still holding up overall quite mild, with any cold limited to light cold zonality, cold northwesterlies as areas of low pressure clear through, but definitely nothing sustained, no blocking over Greenland or Scandinavia. It's all driving in from the Atlantic even into the first half of February, seemingly. Westerly domination goes on. We'll be back tomorrow with another week 10-day video update, and we'll also have the ECMWF 30-day look ahead for the UK and the rest of Europe as well. That'll be the first video up tomorrow. Come back for that then. That's all for now, and thanks for watching.